Okay, so Plan B. No. Get your mind out of the gutter. We're not talking about that. Not that Plan B. But the Democrats do have a Plan B. You know what that Plan B is? Discussing a Plan B in case Biden is not the Democratic nominee. Say what? People are talking about it more. Now, oddly enough, corporate media has the audacity to say that the videos of Biden looking senile, Biden looking goofy, Biden looking inept are deep fakes or digitally altered. Well, no, they're not. But we have to address one big issue here, and that is when it comes down to Democrats and what they offer to voters, it is pretty pathetic. And Biden's poll numbers are low. And so before we pull up the Plan B in regards to Biden not being the Democratic nominee, hey, James Carville, what's his reference to Biden's poll numbers? I mean, they dug him out of his grave, and he's also got Rob Reiner there too. You know, the same Rob Reiner who said, "Hang on, kids, we're gonna get you out of those cages." As soon as Biden won in November of the last presidential election cycle, yeah, same Rob Reiner, same fathead.
I don't think people really appreciate how bad Biden's poll numbers are. When you look at them, it's like walking down your grandmother naked. You can't.
Why are you comparing naked grandma to Biden's poll numbers? Say that again.
Walking down your grandmother naked. You can't unsee.
He said naked too, like that, naked.
Adam is like walking down your grandmother naked. You can't unsee him, no matter how hard you try.
There's Rob Reiner's stupid ass grinning and smiling along. Hey, folks, did you think Rob Reiner got in his truck or his car or an Uber and ran south to the border to help the kids in cages, which are still in cages, by the way? No, probably not. But here's Plan B. Shout out to Case Study QB. Plan B, no pullout needed. Plan B for Biden in case he's not the nominee. Because obviously, in case you don't know, the DNC convention is going to be here in Chicago. So what's this Plan B we're talking about, this pullout method?
New tonight, a Plan B for Biden. Larry Sabato, one of America's most trusted political experts, and the man behind Sabato's crystal ball, which predicts the likely outcomes of races across the country, revealing that he is now getting phone calls from some Democrats who have concerns or questions about what would happen if Joe Biden is not the party's nominee this November. And Larry is with me now. So, Larry, first of all, I know, you're certain Joe Biden is going to be the nominee, but you're getting these calls. Can you tell me about them? Who's calling you? What are they saying?
I think every analyst has a group of go-tos, Aaron, people they've known.
Here's what I'd say about these analysts. They're so far up their asses that they can't even see the sun, okay? These analysts, no pun intended, are so anal in regards to their own perspective that now they're finally coming to terms with the fact that Biden is a senile old goat. And no, I'm not being mean here, but come on, folks. Biden is advancing in age. His body is failing him. His mind is failing him. And the Democrats want to smile and treat all of you as though you are stupid. Because that's what the Democrats want. They want you to not question anything. They want you just to shut up and vote Democrat in this election cycle. And they think that you're too stupid to figure it out. This is why I always say, if you're not angry, what's your excuse? These politicians and these pundits are not serious people.
Known for years or decades, and we're able to be frank with one another and, off the record or deep background or whatever. And, we cover a lot of subjects. Sometimes it just comes up in the middle of a conversation. In one or two cases, it was a bit different. It was about asking whether there were clear historical precedents for open conventions to choose a nominee if the original nominee was unable to serve. It's perfectly legitimate. You do want a Plan B. The Republicans ought to have one too. Their nominee just turned 78. So I think that's good preparation. Now, there is a difference. At least I've seen a difference over the many decades I've been around politics. Democrats really are more nervous and more easily panicked than Republicans are. I'm not sure exactly why that's the case. But they get nervous. They read the same polls, which I don't believe, by the way, as everybody else. And they talk to themselves and they decide that they want to check out some possibilities.
So, it's interesting when you say everyone ought to have a plan B. Generally, they don't, because, you're not looking at the situation you're looking at, right? With the age of the two people who are,
We wouldn't be talking about a plan B if people were actually reasonable, functioning adults. Okay. And look, maybe I'm going too far with the jokes here, but you never go in deep into a situation without any protection. Okay. And the Democrats, what you were lacking was a protection to wrap around yourselves. No pun intended, because after all, this is their plan B. They got to abort the Biden baby, right? Well, let's not have that conversation about Hunter Biden and his little precarious situations. But however, I know I'm being mean here on purpose, but I want to be, just to trigger the liberals. You had an old man who was clearly not in his prime. And in 2020, let's be fair here, maybe Biden was a little bit on point, but the signs were there that he was advancing in age, that he clearly had some cognitive issues. And now, without a shadow of a doubt, look at Biden in comparison to his 2020 run, now in 2024. He's not in front of the cameras as much. He looks lost and confused. He's standing like a statue. And I want to quote Gray Walker, joint third party, says, "I thought that's what the primaries were for. This should have been used. This should be used to expose a two-party system, as it should be." Democrats, you could have just had Biden be a one-term president, and then you could have had a primary. It would have been that simple. Truly, it would have been. But no one is serious in the Democratic Party. The Biden-Harris administration is a joke. Tell me, liberals, why should any of us give up our credibility, our good conscience, our integrity to vote for a president who is not functionally there?
Going to be the nominees here. Who are they asking you about, Larry? I understand some are going to ask about Kamala Harris and how that would play out, but who are the other?
She's not popular. It's not going to be her. Kamala had her time. It's gone.
Names when they say to you, if something happens, then what? Who is that name?
Sure. Some of them, the ones that are in public office, of course, probably are thinking about themselves. All senators and governors and so on wake up in the morning, look in the mirror and see a president. But the ones who are mentioned most frequently, and not just by these people that I've been talking to, are Governor Gavin Newsom of California, Governor Pritzker of Illinois, because he could self-fund, Governor Whitmer of Michigan. Her appeal is...
First of all, Governor Gavin Newsom, from what I've heard from my California audience and people across the political spectrum, that man is a complete freaking disaster for California, which is why there's such a massive flight of people leaving that state. There's a drug crisis, there's a homelessness crisis, there's an immigration crisis there in California, unchecked corruption and abuse of power. The cities are becoming vacant. As for my governor, Governor J.B. Pritzker, the less said, the better. I can argue that, yes, he managed to legalize cannabis, or was the only governor candidate that really actually pushed forward for cannabis legalization and maybe helping a woman's right to choose here in the state. But everything else in regards to Pritzker, avoid. It was toxic. Okay? And these other governors as well. And second of all, if all four of these candidates were very serious, they would have pushed their claims against the Biden-Harris administration. And in fact, if the Democratic establishment was serious, they would have been pushing Biden aside. But no one has any integrity because, again, the Democratic Party thinks all of you are stupid.
Pretty obvious, and Michigan is so critical. Governor Shapiro, who's done quite well and become popular quickly in Pennsylvania, another key swing state, and others. And notice most of them are governors because they don't have long records of having cast votes on every controversial issue known to man and woman.
Yeah.
So it's a little bit easier to present them.
All right. So if you were, looking at this, and obviously you are the creator of the crystal ball, how much of an edge could a new Democrat on the Democratic ticket, the top of the ticket, how much of an edge would that even give the Democrats at this point?
This is a really important question, Aaron, because Democrats who may be thinking about alternatives need to understand what would happen. The new candidate would undoubtedly at first receive positive publicity, and people would say, oh, thank goodness we no longer have that choice between Trump and Biden that we don't want. Well, what would happen after that first blush? the other party would dig up every negative thing they could find about that candidate's past and present personality, and it would be all over TV and social media for weeks. So the glow wouldn't last. It never does in politics.
All right.
This is a man that's talking out of his ass. He's trying to confirm with liberals, especially those that are watching, triggered by Trump, who consume CNN or BSDNC. He's trying to confirm with people that, oh, yes, there's these things that are happening, but it's not too bad. A real serious person would be addressing the fact that they need to replace Biden right away. He needs to go. In fact, they should have been doing this way early on in 2023. In fact, Biden should have made a public press statement saying, I'm not going to run again. I'm not going to seek a second term, as he should have. But now Democrats are stuck with him, which then calls into question of what will happen here in Chicago. We here at Heartlands Media, we will be covering that convention. We will be talking about it. We will be there on the ground. And it'll be very interesting to see if Biden does clinch the nomination in Chicago, August 19th through 22nd.
Well, Larry, thank you very much. I appreciate it. And joining me now to follow on this, the former Democratic Congressman Max Rose and the former Trump White House Communications Director, Alyssa Farah Griffin. So, Max, you hear Larry talk about this, and he's saying he really explained it. He said it's not just casual conversations where it comes up. Some people are actually calling with this, and that he senses a greater sense of anxiety and paranoia among Democrats than Republicans. And I know you're not necessarily hearing the same thing, but people are hearing it from the party. Here are two people, very well-known individuals, expressing this concern.
Yeah, sure. I'm sure there's just a lot of concern about the age issue, and that is something that I think he needs to ponder. Just do a check and say, is this the right thing to do?
There's so much talent, and a lot of it is young and vigorous and energetic. I thought that President Biden should consider not running for the election, but that's not the choice that he made.
No, yeah. Even all the heavyweight analysis people, all the heavyweight people, all the big wigs, all the people who thought they knew better in 2020 are now saying, oh boy, the Biden age issue is a thing. And it is a thing. People respond to strength. People respond to people who are confident and self-aware. Voters see that. And in comparison between Trump and Biden, yes, I know Trump has his goofy statements here and there, but see, the thing is, controversial statement in the 3, 2, 1. When Trump is on stage, he knows what he's doing on stage, okay? The man's a showman. Yeah, he'll say something goofy here and there or say something really out of pocket. But in comparison to Biden, Biden's like, big difference between the two. Night and day. Who's more coordinated? Who's more cognizant? It's Trump. And voters see that.
What do you say to them and those party insiders who are calling Larry Sabato?
It's interesting because what the Republicans are also saying, like Vivek Ramaswamy, for instance, is that this is actually a conspiracy. That the plan is already set. It's a conspiracy that Biden is sure to be replaced. I'd tell you, if it was at this stage, if it had gone beyond the Axelrods and the Carvilles, Larry was 100% correct. I've never met a sitting elected official at the statewide level who doesn't want to be president. So what would the Governor Whitmers and the Newsoms of the world be doing right now? They'd be calling donors. They'd be calling delegates. They'd be making a plan to rise up.
There'd be a shadow effort.
There would be an incredible shadow effort right now, not just to win the nomination, but to also try to raise over $1 billion in like 90 days. So that's not happening at all. And people might be calling Larry. People might be talking about it who used to serve former presidents, but that shadow campaign's not happening, which means that there's no there here.
No, and Alyssa, obviously that is crucial because they would have to raise, the complexity. I guess that's what a lot of these people are calling about too. How does this work at an election? How does an open convention work? How do you raise this money? Of the names that Larry mentioned, and those are the ones that he said kept coming up, who would Trump consider to be the biggest threat? So
no one the Democrats can prop up right now is a threat. It's too late. You see, the thing is, let's see where we're at right now. We're in June, so July. So 1 month till August. So we're in August. Let's say Biden's not the nominee. We get to the end of August. So that means you have August. Well, in August, yeah, you have September, October. That means whoever that new person is has about 2 months left. September, October, because then comes November. And do they have enough push and pull to really get their name out there? So Democrats, regardless, are stuck with Biden. Now, I've had this conversation with Keaton from Due Dissidence, I believe a month and a half ago, when I was co-hosting to fill in for Russell, whether or not Biden would be the nominee. And he brought up some very good points about how Biden would not be the nominee. And I think he's going to remain it. It's too little too late for the Democrats to really push up someone to be the nominee for the Democrats. They put all their eggs in one basket. They're assuming that Biden is going to make it all the way up until November, which if that's the case, fine. But no matter what, Democrats, look at the voter turnout. Look at how Biden is unable to bring in huge crowds of people. Look at how Biden is incapable of having a coherent sentence. He's not doing interviews. And if he ever is doing a speech or a long event, one has to theorize what kind of cocktail, what kind of serum are they giving him so that he remains an upbeat and on-point person? Because this debate is supposedly going to be happening June 27th. So June 27th, that's a Thursday, CNN will be hosting the debate between Trump and Biden. Democrats, you better hope to God that Biden is on point. Because even then, no matter what choice the Democrats make, it's going to be pathetic and painful, and they're going to lose.
Unquestionably Gavin Newsom. And I think the others would struggle with name ID, even though we all know who they are. People in California don't necessarily know who Gretchen Whitmer is, but this is a popular second-term governor of one of the most populous states. I've been in meetings with at least one meeting with Newsom and Trump, and he raved afterward. He's out of central casting. He looks the part. He was very gregarious. He was nice to Trump, but he can also, cater to the more left wing of the party. That's the only person in this very out there scenario who I think could even rise to the occasion and who Trump would be threatened by. But I was of the Axelrod mind that the stakes are too high. Biden should be performing better. They should consider replacing him. I think the window is totally closed there. You cannot do that 5 months out and raise the name ID that you need to reach as many voters.
Hold on. Furious Gustafon, I hear you on this one, okay? You wrote, poor Biden. They're setting up that senile old man to be exposed and embarrassed. Now, the thing is, Biden has done a lot of shitty things, okay? I wouldn't say poor Biden. I wouldn't say that. This is his own karma. He's now a puppet in an office that he tried to win not once, but twice. Third time's a charm, I guess. But it is abusive what the Democrats are doing to him, okay? Yes, we can all be human and show some compassion to somebody who really doesn't deserve it. But hey, let's be compassionate here. Because in many ways, when I see Biden acting senile, acting goofy, looking like a statue, stuttering, or being confused, I can't help but think about to my relatives. Or either that, I'm pretty sure all of you think back to some of your relatives or friends who are dealing with relatives battling with Alzheimer's and dementia. This is completely uncomfortable to look at. Everybody is somewhat embarrassed by proxy by seeing Biden go on the stage because he's representing us, the United States. And yet we have a political party and you have Vote Blue No Matter Who sycophants on social media carrying water for Biden, saying that, oh, it's just fine. No, this is not fine. Plan B? Unfortunately, that plan B ain't going to work. That pullout, Democrats, you're in too deep. You shot in too deep. And now you got the Biden baby, the bebe. And you can't abort it. And even if you have a nominee, Democrats, what makes you think that voters are going to be enthusiastic about this new person you'll have as a nominee in Chicago? No matter what choice you make, it is in my firm opinion that Trump will probably most likely succeed at the end of this election cycle. Now, if the Democrats do win, then it's by the skin of their teeth. They're able to trigger enough people to be afraid of Trump. Fine. But no matter who sits in the White House, Goldman Sachs has the final say. Nothing I said is incorrect here. Our politicians are bought. Goldman Sachs, Wall Street, big banks, they're going to be in the White House. And whether it's Trump or Biden, After it's over, after the election's over, that's it. Voters we're right back to being this people we always are, getting stepped on by the politicians. Democrats, you did this to yourselves. Hey, Bernie, you nutless, cuck, spineless wonder who has no heart whatsoever. What's it like knowing that you gave up your whole legacy for a political establishment that is now choosing to embarrass itself?
Is you need to be such a Herculean effort.
And yet, Max, we're in a situation where, Axios is reporting that many senior Democrats, including some of Biden's aides, are really doubting how Biden's going about it. They're saying specifically his call that democracy is under threat and hearkening back to January 6th and saying it's a choice between that and me. One Democratic strategist said, and to Axios, it's unclear to many of us watching from the outside whether the president and his core team realize how dire the situation is right now and whether they even have a plan to fix it. That is scary. Are you scared by the campaign Biden's running right now?
I'm not scared by the campaign that Biden's running. I am totally frightened, though, by a presidential election that involves even a slim chance that Donald Trump could become.
Oh, no. Tuah becoming president. Oh, no. I really couldn't care. Don't be afraid, folks. A presidential election, it doesn't impact you as much as you think. It doesn't matter. Our politicians are bought. Voting is just a participation event. That's it. You know what Harlan's media's rule are? You know, we're not endorsing any candidates except for Tuah 2024. That's the only thing we can support. Because Tuah, at least you know what you're getting.
The president-elect.
It's not a slim chance right now.
Well, look.
It's much more than a slim chance.
In this country, the way we're politically divided, it is always going to be close to 50-50. Now, Biden's weakness and strength is people have doubted him before. They doubted his campaign in 2020 and the effort in 2022. And in both those instances, highly successful. I do fall back on one critical stat, and that is in poll after poll after poll, there's roughly kind of 7 to 12% of the electorate that's undecided. I can't understand how someone is still undecided. But when they ask them, if the election was today, who would you go with? Biden is still winning. So long as that's the case, I do believe the momentum's on his side.
Larry mentioned that Republicans should have a plan B as well. In part, and forget that people don't seem to care about the legal stuff, whatever, all that, the reasons they thought they need a plan B. But you also have a 78-year-old man running, and something could happen. Same reason that they're ostensibly worried about Biden on the Democratic side. They're not worried about Trump on the Republican side.
Well, it underscores why 6 in 10 Americans didn't want this rematch from hell. But there is no plan B. If there wasn't a plan B after 34 felony counts, convictions, they're sticking with Donald Trump. Yeah. Yes, it'll be presumably, if anything were to happen, it would be whoever he names as his vice president at the convention. But I just have to say, I think if Democrats were running, dreaming up Barack Obama or something, he would be performing dramatically better than.
Oh, my God. They got to bring up the Obama. Bringing up Barack Obama. Yeah, it's the same Obama who did this on stage. Joe, you got to go. Come on, let me walk you off the stage. I know you're the president, but you're looking confused. Hey, Jack, what's going on? That's all they could hang on to. Barack Obama. Barack Obama, who was more articulate than Bush Jr., but led us from 2 wars to 7, got rid of habeas corpus, never held anyone accountable for the 2008 economic disaster. This is the same Barack Obama who willingly gave up all of his political power when the Democrats had a supermajority in the Senate and House. Same Barack Obama who said, Roe v. Wade, it's not politically expedient to do at the time. There we go, folks. Same Obama who went after whistleblowers and journalists speaking truth to power. But that's all the Democrats can hold on to.
And Joe Biden is. And Joe Biden's legacy is on the line. If he loses to Donald Trump and Donald Trump becomes president again because he didn't step aside, history will remember that.
All right. Thank you.
Yep. And that's what's going to happen. So what can we take away from this? What is the major lesson that we can learn as a public, as citizens in this country? The Democrats are clearly unserious. The Democrats don't have a leg to stand on. The Democrats are now trying to look for a plan B. But see, here's the thing. You're stuck with Biden. No plan B is going to help. There's no way you can abort the Biden baby. You're stuck with the old goat. And even if they choose to pick somebody at the DNC convention here in Chicago, it's not going to change anything, because then, now you got to prop up this new person and voters are going to get confused. Well, wait a minute. I thought Biden was running. Who is this other person running? I thought Biden won all the primary states. You see, Democrats, you did this to yourselves, and all I can do is laugh at you. But you know what else? In many ways, I'm glad I'm not supporting the Democrats in any which way whatsoever. You've exposed yourself for the clowns that you are. Now, whether Trump wins in 2024 is yet to be seen, but he has a very good chance to secure a second term for his presidency. And at the end of the day, liberals, look yourselves in the mirror. But hey, it's not all sad. There's one thing that we can get behind, because I want to at least end this segment on a humorous note. I know who I'm voting for in 2024.
Oh, you gotta give him that hawk too and spit on that thing.
2024 Hawk Tuah. Better than Biden, better than Trump. Debate me, because you know I'm in the right.